gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to episode 4 of No Hezzy Hoopcast. I am your host, as always, J.R. Schwab. This week, we got Black Moses.
You got it right this time.
And Leak.
Every week, actually.
Every week. Last week it was two of the same person. But anyways, we got a great show for you tonight. We had a lot of changes, rule changes, draft changes, all-star game changes this year.
Yeah.
And
wait, aren't you going to ask us how we're doing?
No, because I don't really care a lot of the time. We got to talk hoop tonight, all right? We got some pressing issues to go over.
All right.
Unless you guys want to say hello.
I mean, I
go,
thought
you know what? Let's take a minute. Go ahead. Say hello.
Yeah, it would be nice to allow me to express myself. I'd appreciate that.
I want to address the No Hezzy community.
Schwab tries to suppress it sometimes.
Oppress.
Let's not go there.
Well, I'm about to take a knee, right? What's up, y'all? We back. Feels good to be back. There's a lot of changes, like you said. Black, did you want to express yourself?
No, I just want to say what's up to the community. Shout out to everybody that's following the movement. And, let's get into it.
So now, oppressor.
Are you guys ready? Have I oppressed enough? All right, we're going to get right into it. The episode tonight, I think, is the perfect name. We always talk about it. The tank is dead.
Hey, shout out to Master P.
Adam Silver had enough of Sam Hinkie's ghost trailing through the NBA with this tanking going on and changed up the draft lottery, did some reform this year. Real quick, I'm going to go over it because it was even a little confusing to me. Yeah. It's now going to be a top 4. You can jump into the top 4 instead of the top 3 now. So a team from 4 through 14 or 5 through 14 can now jump into that top 4. Also, the bottom 3 teams, so the 3 worst teams in the league, will now have the same percentage of ping pong balls or lottery balls, as they say, as the other 2 teams. So as it was prior, the number 1 losingest team had 25% of the chances of ping pong balls. Now the bottom 3 teams, they're all 14%, equal chance to get that number 1 pick. Lastly, same. If you don't jump into the top 4, descending order, same as otherwise. But other than that, Sam Hinkie was roughing the game up, and Adam Silver had to make a change. Well, how do you guys feel about this? Is this huge? Is this whatever? Is this neutral?
No, I think it's a good move. I think it's a good look. We can all admit that the tanking did get ridiculous, from Phoenix to New York to Lakers to the Kings. You know what I mean? It's all gotten a little overboard. So I'm glad that they kind of even this out like that. Also, I will note, as a Lakers fan, we got our ball. So I can give a damn what they do after that.
You got 2 lightweight 4 balls.
But we got the 1.
You got 2 for sure. I'll say that.
Shout out to LeVar.
To me, it was kind of like, if for the video game community, when you get a fighting game and some guys are overpowered and some guys aren't. Well, they did a little update and they nerfed that a little bit, right?
Yeah,
so now they tempered it to where it's not as attractive to just go out and lose every game of the year.
Adam Silver wanted that equality.
Like, yeah.
Equality,
He's trying to create parity.
Right.
I'll say this, though. I mean, I still don't think it's a big enough move to really make a difference because, if you're a bad team, you're still going to want to be in that bottom 3 anyway. So, if there's a deep draft, it's really not going to change much.
And I've seen a lot of different ideas thrown out on how to change it. The whole wheel. I think we've all seen the wheel one where each team over 30 years gets a chance at getting the number 1 pick more than the other ones. That's all hooey-booey to me. I don't really care about that. This is probably the smallest thing you can do off the top.
It was safe.
Exactly. It was that, hey, these other leagues are kind of screwing things around. Let's do this. We know we're going to be good, and then we can go on from there and see if it works over the next few years.
I got a question for you guys. Are you surprised that there hasn't been a penalty implemented for tanking? So, let's say you do get, the first pick in the draft. If you're terrible next year, you're automatically out of the running for any of the top 3 picks.
I wouldn't be able to go with that just because one guy, especially a rookie, usually doesn't make the difference between making a team a bad team and a good team.
And let's be very clear. Some of these teams that were bad teams last few years were bad. These Sixer teams were bad teams.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys. I still don't think you guys could name me some of those guys on those squads the last couple of years. I mean, there's a lot of players that aren't even in the league, not even playing overseas anywhere right now. You know, they're still scraping in the D League.
That's true.
And yet, you know.
But that was by design and not necessarily because the talent, there's not enough talent there.
And that's why I'm dubbing this the Hinkie rule.
Hence the reason why this whole thing is even in play.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking about this. Some other quick rule changes they also talked about. I don't think we really need to talk about them. They weren't too egregious or anything crazy. Timeouts have been changed. There's no more 20-second timeout and full timeout. It's 7 timeouts total. It's 75 seconds for each timeout. They have a new mandatory timeout rule where it used to be like after 8 minutes, after 4 minutes every quarter. Now it's 7 and 3, and then they cut down on those timeouts. At the end of the game, after the last mandatory timeout with 3 minutes left in the game, each team only has 2 timeouts. So let's say you still have 5 timeouts left, but those last 3 minutes cuts it, you get 2. Overtime is now changed. It was 3 timeouts in overtime. Now it's only 2 timeouts. So they cut one down. It doesn't really matter.
They're trying to streamline this thing.
Streamline. It's more about the game flow. It's really what they're looking at. It's kind of like what baseball is doing right now, speeding up the pitchers and the batters and everything. They want a shorter game. Basketball wants to do the same thing. They want to keep it flowing. Yeah. They want to be ahead of the game, and really is what it is.
That condensed game.
Exactly. They're making these changes when they really didn't need to. It wasn't that bad. And that goes with this next rule change that was made. Free throw shooters cannot venture past the 3-point line in between free throws.
Or it's a penalty, right?
It's a delay game. I believe it's a delay game penalty, or at least the first one is a warning. The next one's a technical free throw. Being a Kings fan, I know, and you guys saw it, and Kurt DeGod also saw it. DeMarcus Cousins used to walk all the way back to the opposite free throw line sometimes during free throws and come back. I'm all for this rule.
He needed that breather.
A lot of guys apparently need the breather.
He got to blow off some steam.
They're implementing this rule in effect.
But I think that this is what makes the NBA ahead of the game. Is that, like you said, they didn't need to make these rules, and some could argue that the game flow was already pretty solid anyway. I mean, it's one of the more faster paced sports that we have.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're thinking ahead and saying, you know what, let's cut down on timeouts. I mean, when you watch the playoffs, there's so many. It's bogged down by timeouts.
By the way, it's for media to get their ads in.
Right. It's more ad time. Right. And then a lot of time coaches just use them. They just use them because they have to. Right. You know, they got a couple extra timeouts here. They may need to draw up a play, so they'll just throw one out there. Yeah. I like the fact that they got rid of the 20-second timeout as well. I mean, what is that for?
Right.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like, what was the 20-second timeout?
The 20-second timeout is literally only there if you're on the sideline. You can't get the ball in after a timeout, and you don't want to.
You don't want to take a fool.
You don't want to take that turnover. You take that 20-second real quick.
Yeah. Also, it seems like, I don't know, man. Like you said, they didn't need to be made. It almost feels like personal 2K adjustments in your match, you know, what I mean? Right. I don't know.
They just changed the sliders real quick.
It's almost overprotective or overcautious.
It's like a very obscure gameplay, you know.
Right. Well, I think what they're doing as well is they're kind of bridging the gap between the NBA and like Euroball.
Yep.
Because I know like with their rules, it's kind of similar to that timeout stuff.
Free flowing.
I think Adam Silver is trying to make the league America's sport. I think he sees an opening from football.
There's a lane.
There's an angle.
Football took it from baseball, and I feel like basketball in the next 20 to 30 years could possibly.
I don't think it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to take that long with the way new age media impacts things. I feel like in the next 5 years, basketball could be America's sport.
Cam Newton not doing NFL any help right now either.
I think
Hey, this is the basketball.
I know. I just had to throw that out there. I had to throw that NFL jab in there real quick.
I think with the way it's trending, I can see that too. I don't think 5 years seems a little soon, just because. I mean, let's be clear. I mean, so much money goes into football. Super Bowl is still the number one
Right.
event to watch on
Right.
It's a
TV in America.
$15 billion entity yearly.
Basketball
Yearly.
definitely coming for your neck, though.
Most definitely.
Let's be very clear about that.
The last of the rule changes is one I think we all needed when you really look at this one, because last
Did
year
we?
something took place during All-Star break that was just kind of weird and kind of shocked everybody.
When DeMarcus
I
got
think.
traded?
When DeMarcus got traded. They moved the trade deadline up this year.
Gotcha.
It used to be the end of All-Star weekend. It was the last day of All-Star weekend. It's now 10 days before All-Star weekend. So these clubs can go into All-Star weekend with a week and a half knowing what their squad is, or at least what their main squad is going to
Right.
be for the rest of the season in the playoffs. And then also what it does is you're not going to have any backdoor alley deals or
Right.
underneath in the tunnel, GMs talking and doing deals. Now we don't get to see somebody play in an All-Star game that we've been waiting for them to see them play in, a la what happened with DeMarcus Cousins last year.
That was disrespectful.
A
I ain't even gonna lie.
little bit.
I ain't even gonna lie. And I was glad they made the move.
Exactly.
Oh, we've been pushing for that. We were pining for
That's
that.
been a narrative for a
Yeah.
long time.
We're
And no
pining
hezzy,
for
right?
Some were a little more reluctant than others.
Yeah.
I'll
I
take-
wonder
I'll
who
take-
that is.
I'll take that. Don't worry.
Kurt DeGodd over there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, when you only have one thing, you don't really want to give up that one thing, no matter how bad it bites you in the ass every single.
Even if it's a cancer.
We're not gonna go there.
No, I think that's a good rule, don't you, Leak? I mean,
Absolutely. I like that.
no bombshells
Yeah.
right after you finish playing in a game for
And it allows the players to enjoy the All-Star weekend in comfort. A lot of guys, they were more so walking around, fly, during the events, but sweating bullets,
Right.
waiting for that phone call from their agent. So now people can enjoy the festivities a little more, which may lead to a better game. Probably not. Well, speaking of,
Speaking
game.
of rest and the game,
Yeah.
the other rule change, or not even a rule change, but more of a instituted secret bylaw, I guess you could say. NBA teams, the Cavaliers and the Spurs, are no longer allowed to rest their star players in the middle of the season during nationally televised games. Hence, a penalty of minimum $100,000 for the club if they do this. I read through this change. It's very, very, very vague.
Yeah.
Very vague. It's
Yeah.
pretty much up to the discretion of the NBA and Adam Silver and what
Right.
they want to do with, if LeBron sits out or if a Kawhi
Yeah.
Leonard sits out.
Bron
And
will eat that
you know,
100K.
It's
nothing.
It says something.
Nike will
It says
pay
something
that.
about only on the road. You can sit him out at home during a
Right.
national televised game. It's like only on the road type.
put it
thing.
like this: Bron had to sign off on that rule, so he's got his loopholes.
Like we said, Adam Silver is trying to make NBA that America's sport.
Yeah.
He's trying to make sure that those America's players are playing in those big nationally televised games on ESPN, on TNT, on NBA
He doesn't want to
TV.
miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
you're like you said, that's where they get their money is from the nationally televised games. And if I'm not trying to watch a game where you can potentially have Kevin Love,
And a bunch of nobodies.
Bron, and D Wade sitting out, and you rolling with the B team. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That team aside, because they are very deep and they do have a lot of stars.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
As a fan, though,
as a fan, you want to watch the best possible product. You don't want to have to go in and watch the G League team,
Right.
essentially, right? A glorified G League
well,
team.
that's just
The Sixers of old.
disrespectful.
Adam Silver also put a little jab into the All-Star game this year. Changed it up. The top vote getters in each conference.
No, this is the interesting
So
one.
the fans vote. So we could have Zaza Pachulia, picking these squads. The top vote getter in each conference is going to be the captain
You're so
of a
extreme,
squad.
Suave.
You know what? He was the second most getting vote getter last year in the West, so he could have been the top
And
captain.
now he's a champion.
And now he's a champion. Anyways,
and
top-
took out and single-handedly took out Kawhi Leonard. For whatever it's worth.
the top vote.
And that's a rule now. But we'll get
Yeah,
it. We'll leave that
single-handedly.
for the next episode.
The top vote getter in the East and the top vote getter in the West are now the captain of their own squad. They get to take the rest of the guys that were voted to the All-Star game, so the other 28 guys, and they get to do like a blacktop basketball game and pick their squad,
Absolutely.
captain these teams, pick who they want. So we could have Russ and KD back on the same team again.
It's not happening. I know that's not happening.
It could happen. I know you want to see that.
Because I have a scenario that immediately negates that. Because if Steph and LeBron are the top 2 vote getters,
Which they most likely will be.
the chances are
Or
that
KD might be a top vote.
I would say Steph. I think Steph's more lovable to the people who actually vote.
Right.
KD's been doing a lot of
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
A lot of.
He's not necessarily a fan favorite right
I'll be
now.
very careful with my words on that.
Because he might tweet you.
Yeah. Hey. He might slide in my DM.
Which handle is he using though?
Right. And it's on one of his ghost accounts.
So I feel like Steph is going to be the top vote getter in the West. LeBron's going to be the top vote getter in the East. Steph is going to pick Kevin Durant. He's just going to. And LeBron.
And if he doesn't, does that create a whole new narrative?
I don't. Who else would he pick? Paul George, Carmelo Anthony,
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, what if he just goes for Dre off top?
Nah, he's not doing that.
I could easily see something like that happening though.
But over KD. Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
And then would Bron select
And
KD?
then, and then.
Yeah, this thing's gonna be interesting.
I'm done. This is what left. I try to bring a plausible take, and you guys just.
I'm just glad you didn't bring up your whole Lonzo Ball is going to be the top vote getter in the West, and he's going to pick the squad.
No, but LeBron's going to choose him because he will be in the.
They should honestly just have LeVar Ball select the Western squad.
Honestly, they should have LeVar Ball pick the All-Star teams. Period. And like just
you guys see the line of the preseason game?
And lightweight call the game like the and one guy.
Give him like a little analyst spot.
Let him coach.
No, I'll tell you this though, he probably will have some. He'll have some role in All-Star Weekend.
Yeah,
whether it's like a celeb game.
He's going to go one-on-one against somebody.
Him and LaMelo will be on the celeb All-Star team.
They'll have Triple B's pop-up shop in the arena. But talk about not missing an opportunity. And I thought Adam Silver was being tactical this year. Listen.
No, look. Back to the. Yo, no hezzies off the rails tonight.
Usually some out of pocket Schwab says it does it, but.
No, listen, no. Back to this rule.
Yes.
I feel like it's very polarizing.
Yes.
Because we've been doing for as long as I've known
right.
basketball, it's been East and West, and then top vote getters as starters and media
very
and coaches
traditional.
select.
Another reason
This is so different.
Lightweight hoop scripture, you know what I mean?
This is the New Testament, right?
The reason they made this change though was they wanted to make it more competitive. So they're playing for charity now. So each team is going to pick a charity they play for. Money's going to go to them.
Right.
But here's the thing: just because money's going to the charity doesn't mean it's going to make the game more competitive. They're not going to be playing harder.
Listen, these guys are getting money for their charities regardless if the NBA wants to donate to them directly or not. You know what I mean?
The only way this All-Star game, in my mind, gets more competitive or to the point where it's more competitive and we're seeing defense being played or something is if they do something like baseball does to where whatever conference. I know you hated that rule. Whatever conference wins the All-Star game gets home field advantage, basically, in the finals.
But that makes no sense.
I understand that, but that's the only thing you can do to make the All-Star game more competitive. Is it going to happen? No.
Well, here's the thing. As long as these guys are getting paid to be healthy, they're not going to go hard in the All-Star game.
Right.
As sad as it is to say, they're not going to risk their, future on basically a glorified pickup game that really does nothing to further anything in the rest of the season. Why would we expect them to do that? That's what makes me more frustrated than anything else. Now, it would be great to see him play a little bit more defense. It would be great to see him run some plays and actually look like a real basketball game. But like I said, it's a glorified pickup game.
We're there for the dunks and the oops and the passes.
At the end of the day, does the All-Star game take away from your NBA experience? No. Just because there's a lot more lobs and scores? No. So the whole competitive argument, I don't really think that's that big of a deal to me.
This is the most famous pickup game at the Y, basically.
Right.
And I feel like now that we talk about all this, I feel like the NBA is just using All-Star Weekend as one big tax write-off now. Like the money goes to charity, you know what I mean? Like it's like
right. It all looks good for PR.
absolutely, yeah. The kids involved, you know.
A lot more ads, a lot more
Yeah.
celebs are there.
Adam Silver is not playing, bro.
Man, this is a very efficient guy we're working
Yeah.
with here. I like it. I'm not mad at the rule change.
No, it's-
Some people are upset about it. I'm not mad.
It makes
I
it
think it's
very
cool.
interesting. I'm looking at it like you. I'm taking that cue. This is the New Testament. This
Yeah.
is the new. This is the after Braun. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
You know.
Yeah, it would be
He's still, in
something.
his, he's still in his prime. And we're already preparing
Right.
for that demise.
Well, no. Well, this is like when Braun came. You know what I mean? Now things change. You know what I mean? You could travel. You got
Right.
an extra step.
There's
You know what I
4
mean?
steps
You
instead
get
of
4
3
steps.
now.
You can do the.
It wasn't even 3. It was 2.5.
Instead of a crossover, now you do the throw over.
It's the-
carry.
You know, yeah.
The carry.
This is all you know.
And the Euro step still gets a little sketchy
Oh,
sometimes,
it gets
right?
very. There's I see extra step tweaked it like a
Yeah,
little
they take
tiny
liberties
step.
with the Euro
Absolutely,
step.
even the fouls. You know what I mean? All that. I mean,
Yeah.
this is after Braun. This
Yeah,
is
this
AB.
is yeah.
AB.
So,
NBA AB.
Yeah,
So
the
Adam-
new NBA.
Adam Silver taking that initiative to change things up and make sure the NBA isn't going stale. But we got a new segment tonight called "Make It Hotter," and it's mostly about guys.
Make it hot.
guys that need to step their
That
game up,
Marlon
and,
Wayans.
and they're not being preemptive and stepping their game up. And you know we're gonna throw some coaches in there too. 'Cause these coaches are gonna be on the hot seat this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna run through the players first.
Y'all ain't safe.
And these are players that I think we all are in agreement on need to raise their level of gameplay, raise their overall play,
Right.
their shooting, their defense, just everything in general, and for all completely different reasons when you look at it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll go in on those.
I just realized we have 2 guys on the same team. I don't really like that, but I think they're two because this team has been meddling for years now. But anyways, let's get right into it. First player we got on this list. Maple Jordan, Andrew Wiggins.
I haven't heard that in a while.
He's one of those players we talk about. By the way, we were wrong last week. He has not gotten the extension yet.
I thought he got the XX extension.
He did not. I hate you
Nah.
saying that. It's like the 4th time in 2 weeks he said that. But no, he has not gotten that extension yet. So you can dock us some house points for that one. But he has not gotten the extension yet. But anyways,
That's interesting.
Andrew Wiggins.
What are they waiting for?
What is he waiting for?
They're trying to see if he can raise that level of gameplay. Now he's got Jimmy Butler around him, Karl Anthony Towns around him. He was the first to come. It's crazy to think about. He was the first of the
Right.
3 to get
Yeah,
there
yeah.
on the squad.
Like- Wait, he's expendable
and
now?
that K Love. I was gonna say
Jimmy
I mean,
Butler
they-
makes him expendable.
they're gonna let that man walk if he doesn't show something.
Hey,
He's a younger version of Jimmy Butler.
Lightweight moved that man at the deadline.
Hey,
I'm just saying. Listen, we won't get into that. He does need to step his game up, though.
absolutely. I think what they want to see is him solidify his lane as that two-way player that
Right.
he was projected to be coming out of college.
Absolutely.
Which he has the potential to be. I'd like to see him score more.
So we talked about it already
know
a
what I
couple
mean?
times. So he's almost like a mini Jimmy Butler, but he needs to have a better 3-point stroke.
I wouldn't even put him in Jimmy Butler's
Yeah.
lane, honestly.
Jimmy Butler's a little more versatile than him offensively as far as playmaking. Wiggins is lightweight, like
I say like a PG almost.
yeah. I mean, more like almost like Vince Carter,
Yeah, he's like a throwback
like a throwback. Yeah,
to like your traditional,
Absolutely.
your T Max, your Cobes,
right.
your
A
Vinces.
lot of back to the basket stuff, a lot of
Right.
mid range stuff.
Versatile,
We were
versatile offensive game
We were
all
talking about
around.
Rip Hamilton,
But not a
almost kinda
playmaker,
like
though.
Rip Hamilton.
Not a playmaker
Not a
at all.
playmaker.
Yeah.
He's still got to be able to do that. Number 2 on this list.
He needs to. Sorry, not to cut you off. He needs to play better defensively.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I think that's what Timberwolves are waiting to
If
see.
he was a stopper, it would justify his offensive output
Right.
being at this. Because, I mean, he's averaging like 21, 22 a game, which
Yeah.
is really good. But I just think, when you're not winning, it seems empty.
He needs to be in the echelon with the second tier guys this year, I think.
Listen, if you're not winning, you need to be averaging 27 a game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Schwab, you all right?
I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Is
Andrew
it-
Wiggins is giving me that.
This doesn't make for good TV.
You got your water, you got your,
There, we're
yeah.
good. Number 2 on this list, DeMarcus Cousins.
Go ahead and take a swig. We'll go
And
in
that-
on
you know,
that.
I'm gonna get going on this. I'll take that swing later. DeMarcus Cousins on this list. I think he definitely needs to raise his level of gameplay. We said we were only giving him like 2 or 3 weeks. The league's already over here ready to go in right now. I think you need to give him the year and then obviously let him walk at the end of the year. But right now he definitely needs to play better next to Anthony Davis and be that 25, 30-point game scorer.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Leak, you mind?
The
Okay.
floor is yours.
DeMarcus needs to do 2 or 3 things this year that I want to see. He needs to change his attitude because it stinks. He needs to be better defensively because he fouls a lot.
Yep.
And most importantly, he needs to win more than 40 games in a season.
33.
We haven't seen DeMarcus win over 32 games, or 33, excuse me, in his career.
No.
He has yet to be on a winning franchise. Now, some could say his teams weren't good enough. But now that he's been traded to the Pelicans and they've put weapons around him, if they don't win this year, DeMarcus, I'm looking at him. Target's on him. Because we've seen AD go to the playoffs. He literally put the team on his back.
Right. We saw that.
And those guys are comparatively like, GOAT center or GOAT big A, GOAT big B, right?
Right.
We've seen what AD can do. We haven't seen DeMarcus in a situation like that, in a high pressurized situation. So he needs to win.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about that.
I want to see because it ultimately does need to get to that.
It's all right.
But I know that
I might have to get up for a second. We gotta just keep running.
it's hot
this.
to you know. What I mean?
Yeah, it's getting real hot.
Yeah.
Spicy right now.
Hey, but I think overall he needs to be in shape for one. I don't want to see him trotting up and down the court like I don't know, like
Sluggish. He looks like a lug.
I mean, he looks like he's dreading every step.
Yeah.
Really clunky.
Really clunky. There's no way you could win if he is your staple and he's running up and down the court like that. It just doesn't work like that. Second thing, defense. I wasn't even thinking about that, but yeah, it does have to get better. He does foul a lot. If he can get in shape and move a little more fluently, then that might be able to help him stay in front of people. His attitude does stink. I feel like that's already changing, just because he's not in that toxic environment anymore.
Right.
But at the same time, it is on him. It's all on him. AD, we've seen what he could do. And they're not horrible. They've got Rondo, DeMarcus and Rondo have played together.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday proved that he could score 19 a game. He hasn't done it in a couple years, but he got to check.
Got a good coach running the show.
He's got to step up. That's questionable.
He was a good coach. Well, we're gonna get. Let's not jump the gun right now.
Yeah. So we would be jumping the gun because Alvin.
He's not without sin either, right?
Listen, the bottom of his pants are black too. All right.
Just 3 years ago, like everyone was touting this guy because he helped the Warriors win the title.
Absolutely, that's what happened.
Now all of a sudden
That's what happens when you're affiliated with greatness.
Let's move on to the Pelicans.
So yeah, DMC,
right,
he's got a DMC. I don't know. I was trying to close it off, but you know what? He's such a conundrum. I just want to see you in shape. If I can see that, I might be satisfied. Otherwise, move him at the deadline.
Yeah.
Another guy.
That dead move.
A guy that got a new extension this year. Everyone wasn't too happy about this extension.
Yeah.
Otto Porter, Washington Wizards. Real quickly, just because we've gone over, I think we went over this a couple episodes ago. We had a big argument, not even argument, big talk about Otto Porter on this show. What do you need to see from Otto Porter this year for him to make it hotter and look better?
When did this guy become such an asset, right? Like just 2 seasons ago, we didn't even know who this guy was really.
That 3-and-D player is just the big hot commodity now.
Yeah.
I mean, that just shows you kind of where the market is, because I mean, teams are looking for bronze stoppers essentially. So
mean-
it's like, teams are throwing money at this guy. I really don't have an expectation for him.
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty much what he did last year. I
right.
guess.
I mean, he's basically getting paid to do what he did last year.
He seems like he's like an analytics, he's more like an analytics darling.
Analytics darling. Yep, perfect.
Like who
Perfect
wants
analogy.
that? You know what I mean?
His
Who
plus
wants that?
minus numbers are really good.
Right,
so
I'm good.
like,
And that's because
yeah.
John Wall spoon feeding him all over the corners. you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
he can't. I don't really think he can create his own
Well,
shot.
now we don't want him trying that.
Right,
We
and
don't-
then
yeah.
like even defensively, he's not a lockdown.
No, he's not.
That's at least,
like a
that's
foul
at least
body.
what his man. At least what his calling
He
card
looks
is.
like
is
Rasheed
playing
Wallace's
solid
son.
defense. And now he's getting out of hand. Anyways, let's move on from Otto
No, I'm
Porter.
not rocking with Otto Porter, man.
he's like
but
Rasheed-
I wish him the best.
Rasheed
Step the
Wallace's
game up,
head
boy.
on Tayshaun Prince's body.
Hey, but look, the Kings were ready to throw money at that man.
That was all
Absolutely.
smoke screen. Yeah, Leak's favorite word, smoke screen. That's what that was.
Because you know what was going on. Magic, man. Let's not even get into that. Magic's smoke screen was so prime over the whole draft situation. Anyway,
moving on. We come to the second Pelican on this list, and really, I think the only reason this guy is even on this list for us is he got that extension as well, or got that new contract, that Braun tract
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
25,
He got a
30
Braun
mil a
tract?
He got a
year.
Braun
he's
tract.
on a broad track.
He's on a Braun tract.
For
At least 3 to 4 years.
For the no hezzy community who don't understand what a Braun tract is, that is something that Braun established when he came back to Cleveland, where you get the two-year deal
Max.
maxed out
With the
with
player
an
option.
option.
With the
With
player
a player
option.
option. So it's basically like, if I want to stay, then we could just do that all over again. Or if the team's not substantial enough, I could just dip out and use my option. So
Now, there was a lot of guys out there that got big contracts in the last couple.
Yeah.
But if I'm the New Orleans Pelicans, and it's obviously he's been injured a couple years, but obviously has not worked with Anthony Davis, or at least to the point where we're thinking of Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis as the dynamic duo on the Pelicans. Why are you going to throw that much money? Yes, he's familiar with the Pelicans, the organization. Why are you throwing that much money at him?
the market,
All in.
the market.
All in. They want to go all in for DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis season. So it's not. We don't have to go find another two guard. We can just sign Rondo for pennies and then move this guy to the two, which that's kind of like almost like his natural position anyway.
But you're now
I don't
playing-
even think that's what it was, though, Leak. I think the fact that everyone was hurting for a PG kind of this year, and there were only so many available, with Jeff Teague choosing to go to the Timberwolves and
Derrick Rose.
going to Cleveland, and then you had Lowry kind of floundering around.
Right.
They were like, you know what? We got one now. Let's just go ahead. Let's guap out for him. Let's and reinforce that by getting Rondo, just in case we do want to play with that lineup and go from there. But I don't really think it's because he was that great.
I think we would have to truly know it. We would have to see who they signed first. That would give us a more telling scenario. Either way it goes, this is not the winning combination. And Drew
I
Holiday
agree.
is on the hot seat.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah, absolutely. But either way, he's getting paid, which is confusing.
Right.
Schwab digs this last guy on this make a hot list. I actually liked him coming out of college. I wanted the Kings to draft him. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the Lakers drafted him. But Big Julius Randle needs to step his game up.
Absolutely.
Larry Nance, as much as we found out tonight, Leak doesn't think Larry Nance is in the cards for the Lakers anymore.
No,
But
not at all.
that's
Not
a
at
story
all.
for another day.
I can give you a whole
talk about
take
that
on
later.
that.
He's usurped Julius Randle. Kyle Kuzma, the rookie phenom, has usurped Julius Randle.
Swallowed that, man.
Julius Randle is starting to look like Jason Thompson with those brick hands, getting 4 offensive rebounds in a row and still missing the putback out there.
Looking like a prime body Thomas Robinson.
Look, I pine for the kid, and I don't even know what to say about him right now. He looks horrible. You being the resident Laker fans on the show, I'm gonna let you guys take us. What do you need to see from J.A. Randle?
I like your take.
Or you know what?
I like your take on this.
Let's just do this and let League take us one away on Julius.
I don't even gotta speak on it.
Keep it short and sweet, but just give us that hot take.
Yeah, I mean, I talked to Black a little earlier, and I'm over him. I'm done. Move him on. Get him out of here. Package him with
Instead of D'Lo?
with Larry Ash Jr. and Luol Deng. Luol Deng. And get him out of here. Get him out of here. Randall, he still has no touch around the basket. It looks like he's fighting himself. Every time he goes up for a shot, it looks like he's aggressively attacking himself. This is also how he broke his leg, his first game of his rookie career. He started off breaking a leg. I'm over him. Get him out of here. I think he's actually good trade bait right now. And I guess we give him a little playing time, see how he does. Listen, we emphasize Lonzo to raise Randall's stock. You know, up until All-Star break. 2 weeks before All-Star break, he's at, right where that new rule change is at. He's out of here. Did you want to add anything to that?
No, well done. We're gonna move on to coaches, but we're gonna stay in the great city of LA.
Hey.
And this guy is somebody who's definitely this is more of the hot seat section. Okay, these are coaches on the hot seat.
Hey.
Look.
We got 4 coaches on that hot seat, and we had 2 coaches that should have been on this list on the hot seat, but because of extenuating circumstances, we're going to talk about them in a second. The first coach, Doc Rivers, the president of basketball, or is he still?
No.
Lawrence Frank is now the president of basketball.
They swallowed up that
So
lane.
Doc is getting swallowed whole right now, and he's just the coach of the Clippers and father to that worst backup point guard you could have. That's just Schwab's take. But anyway, let's keep it on Doc Rivers
We're not gonna disrespect the lineage like that.
I might ask this question for every person on this list, but is a winning season? Does Doc have to go to the conference finals?
Doc has to win a championship. Let's be very clear about that. I mean, let's just call it what it is. They brought him in addition to having Chris Paul,
Right.
Blake Griffin,
DeAndre Jordan,
and at the time a burgeoning DeAndre Jordan.
He was lightweight the piece.
He was the piece they wanted.
That DNA
To infuse the DNA that he's bringing from Boston to cultivate that culture and bring him a chip. He's been there now for what? How many seasons?
It's been at least 7.
6
or 7.
7
This
seasons.
is probably his 5th or 6th or 7th.
No, 09 they were in the finals, so it would have been this is 6th season, 6 or 7th season, yeah.
He's been there for 7 seasons, and they have yet to go to the conference finals.
And he's getting all the perks.
Let alone win a chip.
He's been getting all the perks.
And they're gonna give him the basketball a president of basketball operations tag.
He's had the top point guard, pure point guard in the game. He's had the most blossoming big man, or at least before when he's not injured, in Blake Griffin. It seems like.
Let's be clear. Blake Griffin is a superstar.
He is a superstar.
An injured superstar, but a superstar no less.
Yeah.
And like we said,
hey, it's not on Blake.
I wish you had that clip.
It's not on Blake.
Yeah.
And like you said, DeAndre Jordan was that crux to that team. JJ Redick couldn't even take that team. He wanted to go to the Hinky Sixers.
JJ Redick, listen, the situation is so bad in the other LA that JJ Redick made a choice to go to the 76ers
Willingly.
rather than stick around in that toxic culture and play for Doc Rivers and the Clippers.
So do we agree Clippers have to at least make the finals for Doc to keep his job?
Absolutely. And it's not going to happen.
Now that's well, here's the thing. This is what we're saying. But in reality, it's not going to happen. Doc is around for at least 2 or 3 more years.
Yo, I got to know as your prediction. Doc's going to get fired before the season ends.
The first.
I will say this: it seems bad that we're going in right now on this, because it's like we're talking about a man losing his job, but at the same time, I mean, what the heck has this guy done there?
Hey, he hasn't done anything.
Look, it's a weatherman position. You can't be wrong all the time and still keep your job, right?
I'm over
we're,
it,
we're
man.
looking to axe some
Hey,
people.
Chris Paul's been coaching that team.
Take Doc and his Cavadas and get him out of there.
Surprisingly, number 2 on this list is another man that held that president of basketball operations and GM role and coach role. I think they're 2 of the 3 guys on this list. But Stan Van Gundy in Detroit. I almost threw Detroit Pistons' entire starting lineup on that on the player option side of this whole argument right now. But we're gonna give them a pass right now because Stan Van is the one running the show. What is he doing right now? Like, what? I know injuries have played a little bit of a part, but Tobias Harris is not the one. Reggie Jackson is not the one. I've been saying that. I'm not going to name any names right now, but I've been saying Reggie Jackson was not the one.
I also said Tobias wasn't the one as well.
You know, we just looked at Andre Drummond's numbers there. We were talking about that. We thought he was somebody was saying he was gonna average 15 rebounds a game. And
He
he
did.
was well under the year before. No, he was well under what he was the year prior.
No, we made the bet, and he averaged 14.8 rebounds a game.
No. We made the bet when he averaged 14.8, and we said he would be over 15.
Yeah,
he
wasn't
went down to
at
13.8.
He wasn't at 15. I said y'all
We
think
made
he
the
could do
bet
that.
2 seasons ago. It was not last season.
No,
last
no,
season
it
was not
wasn't.
the bet.
It was
wasn't.
before last
It
season.
was the season before that. He
Yeah.
averaged 14.8 that season.
But remember
No. That's why we brought it up. Was because he averaged 14.8, and we said, could he average 15 a game?
Well, we're gonna move on from that
We're gonna move on from
because
that.
2 years ago
Anyways.
he averaged 14.8. That was the beginning of the season that I stated that. But anyway, I digress.
I don't think so. We might have to go back into the Be Clear
We can go back in the
archives.
vaults, yeah.
A lot of you don't even know what that is. We'll go back in the archives and find that for you. We'll
Yeah.
bring it up. But Stan Van,
Yes.
he's going to keep his job, I
Right.
feel like. It's same thing with Doc Rivers. We're trying to bring you that hot take,
Right.
but I think Stan Van needs to get axed or at least demoted like Doc Rivers was, who just coached and let somebody
Yeah.
else run the show.
That's a trash scenario, man. I think he's made a lot of moves since he's been there. It seems like a lot's happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the Morris twin to Reggie Jackson to Tobias Harris
Right.
to trading Monroe. You know what I mean? A lot's happened there. I mean, Contavious Caldwell's gone. It's Ish Smith was his backup. You know what I mean? Dinwiddie emerged. You know what I mean? Now he's a backup for D'Angelo Russell. A lot's happened over there, and frankly, I think it's just been too much movement. Talk about stability, right?
And like you said, all those moves didn't make them a lick better.
No, it was a lot
Moving and
of
standing in place.
moving and staying in place, moonwalking, moving backwards, so to speak.
I'm not a fan of the GM coach. I think that's something that we need to do away with in the NBA.
Word.
Because what we're doing is not only are we belittling the responsibilities of a coach and what he's supposed to do in order to cultivate a winning situation,
Right.
we're also belittling the job of a GM.
Right.
I mean, that's a year-round job. You have to scout. You have
Absolutely.
to, look at, potential free agents. You got to know so much. Your finger has to be on the pulse. So it's impossible, in my opinion, to be a coach
Absolutely.
and do that at the same time and win.
Instead of having all those titles, they need to go the pop route and have and I'm not calling R.C. Buford a patsy up there in the GM role, okay? But have somebody in the GM role and because you don't think Pop doesn't have,
Yeah, give him say.
information
Right,
and who he wants and everything like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's obviously going down.
I don't think like you said, though, I don't think anything's gonna happen to Van Gundy. Him and his brother are both trolls to me. though.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm
Trolls, right?
looking at this list, and it's kind of like all the guys in this list aren't
Who
going
do
to
these
get
guys
fired.
even think they are?
Well, their dad was a coach.
No, I mean, just this GM coach thing. Like,
Yeah,
who do these
yeah.
guys? Like, who the hell do they think they are? Like, it's difficult enough to coach a successful team, let alone like be the general manager.
Right.
Like, no one man should have all that power.
Right.
This next guy we've already brought up already, Alvin Gentry, should have been fired probably a couple seasons ago. Probably after his first season.
That's a hot town.
Man.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
that's just
It
a hot
is.
town.
There's spotlights all over that thing, right?
BMC.
Is there
Drew Holiday.
anything Alvin Gentry can do they got to make the playoffs and win the first round?
They
for him
have to make the
have to
playoffs.
make the
Obviously,
playoffs.
not making the playoffs, he's getting fired. Do they have to win the first round or get out of the first round for him to keep his job?
I don't think that's logical to think that they can win the first
You know,
round.
okay, here's okay.
Where would
Let's
they
stop-
be sliding
let's
in
stop
at?
it here.
7, 8, 6, 7, 8.
6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
would need to be there at
Yeah.
least.
That's either Golden State, San Antonio, or OKC, or
Can we
Houston.
not say Alvin Gentry? Because, like we said, I think he needs to be fired no matter what. I think somebody
I
needs
thought he
brought
needed
in.
to be fired
Can
last
we make
year.
this about Dell Demps? Dell Demps has been there about 4 or 5 years longer than Alvin Gentry, and he's done nothing for Anthony Davis.
Yo, the Pelicans, in my opinion, that's such a toxic
Absolutely.
situation.
Get him outta
From
here.
that front office
Absolutely.
to that roster.
Change that name to the Bobcats.
And I feel sorry for Gentry because he is a good coach. That's the thing. But like you were saying, I mean, it all looks really sweet when you got a team like Golden State to coach.
Absolutely.
But if you got to cultivate your own culture, I mean, get him out of there.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Right?
I'm not buying that.
Next guy has certainly created his own culture.
And he had the nerve to fight for GM duties too.
Had the,
He wanted that doc track.
Yeah, he did.
had the nerve to create his own culture. Jim Carrey Part 2, Rick Carlisle in Dallas. This is one of those, I think the only reason he has a job is because he's homies with Mark Cuban, or he might have some blackmail on Mark Cuban
Right.
or something like that. Because I really don't know how Rick Carlisle has kept his job the last couple of years with how bad these teams have been.
He been to a couple of Mark Cuban's parties and seen some things.
Yeah, that's all I can
He
think
went into
of.
that door and saw some stuff and closed that up real quick.
Just like Doc and Sam Van Gundy, it's one of those things. He's not going to get fired. I mean, they're at the point they're rebuilding. They're waiting for Dirk to retire. They're trying to get whatever they can. And it always seems like they're fighting for an 8 seed at the end of the year, and they ain't going nowhere on the 8 seed. You got something to say, Lee? You got that look on your face right now, like I said something you just completely disagree with.
Well, I happen to think Rick Carlisle is a good coach. And as a matter of fact, I think he's done a damn good job. Considering that Mark Cuban has been holding on to Dirk Nowitzki, you know, like a 8-year-old girl with her favorite doll. and all the point guards that have came and went,
Right.
you know, that weren't a lick of anything. Mark Cuban's consistently gotten that team in that 7th seed, basically.
Yeah.
But what have they done? Where have they gone?
Well, they haven't had enough. I would look at the GM according to that.
Right. I don't
that's
think
that's an even tougher call because it's Donnie Nelson, and we sure know there's no way Mark Cuban's getting rid of him.
no, absolutely not. He's royalty there
royalty
in
for
that
the
front
Mavericks.
office.
Donnie Nelson's like Mark Cuban's dad's best friend.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
he can't get rid of him. That's family.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Leak. I don't think Carlisle is terrible. He's done exponentially well with what he's been given.
Considering the circumstances.
But at the same time, I do think that it's time to change the culture, especially now that Dirk is pretty much on the end of it. Basically, I look at Carlisle's relationship with Dirk like kind of like how B. Scott was with Kobe. Like once Dirk is gone,
Yeah.
why you let Carlisle go and just start up a whole? Because you got some young pieces now.
I
You got
agree.
D. Smith Jr. now, who could potentially be the new face of the franchise.
I
So
think it's like an Indiana situation a couple years ago with Frank Vogel. He was a good coach. He didn't need to go, but it was just time for a change. I don't think Carlisle's a bad coach. I just think with the last couple years what's been going on, there's no reason for him to still be around. I don't think he's some pop-level coach or Jerry Sloan that needs to be there for 20 years.
Let's not do
there's
that.
there's no more of
I'm
those.
just saying, okay?
I mean,
Because-
you made your point, Sean, all right? If you had to reach that far, all right?
The last guys on this list, we were going to include them in this hot seat take, but because of these circumstances in the offseason, with major stars getting traded or bought out, Fred Hoiberg
I'm just looking at what if you're gonna call them by their actual
and,
names.
and Jeff Hornacek. I almost messed it up there. But
No, you almost got it right.
Jeff Hornacek, they were two coaches that were definitely on the hot seat. Their teams were losing. They looked awful out there. There was mutiny in the locker rooms by the players.
Man.
They
Yeah.
did not want him out there. Jimmy Butler said a few times that Fred Hoiberg basically, we don't know what the hell's going
Yeah.
on.
He called him outside of
You're
his
not
name
coaching me
almost,
hard
right?
enough. You're coaching me. You're soft.
Jeff
Yeah.
Hornacek, same thing. Kristaps has no idea how to run the triangle. It was more hatred towards the Zen master, Phil Jackson, probably more than anything. But because Hornacek is the coach, he's going to get the brunt of it.
Yeah.
But at the
Right.
same time, Hornacek didn't do anything in Phoenix, and he sure as hell ain't doing anything now with the Knicks. But we're going to give him a pass, as we said right now.
It's so hard though.
It is very hard because I think they both need to be. And I like.
I say
Fred
Jeff. I
Hoiberg.
say Jeff more than Fred. Kurt the God. He's had this narrative for a while now, so I gotta pay respect to that.
Absolutely.
Because what I saw last year, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of shocked me a little bit. I mean that franchise, it was in so much turmoil,
yeah.
and the fact that they blew that thing up, I think gives him a pass just because now he has a team that's younger, that is more impressionable, that'll probably listen to what he has to say and the way he has to say it. So for that, I think Jeff though, I think anything from the Phil Jackson regime needs to be gone except for Porzingis. Pretty much.
It pretty much is already, so I don't think we have to worry about that too much anymore.
I'm feeling like Fred's got to pass because they blew it up. Obviously, I think that's what gives it to him. They got a whole bunch of young guys now. He was a college coach, so maybe he can communicate with them in an effective way. And I think the same with Jeff. He's just pretty much floating around at this point. I think they'll just see what he does this season, and then from there on, just pretty much break away with him.
Yeah.
Real quickly as the closing
Yeah,
comment.
it's interesting how both their names rhyme with adult activities, though. Anyway,
I want to go there.
Fred
Bob was so good at getting the
Hoiberg.
names
Jeff
correct, and
Horny
then leak
say.
over here. Oh, we're throwing it for a loop.
Yeah.
So let me ask this final question. What do you give these guys? We're giving them a pass. Do we give them the year? Do we give them 2 years now? Or do they get the year to figure out where it's going with these young squads and these upstart teams, I guess?
Well, if we say we give them a year, that we're saying that they're going to be better, right? So what's better for those franchises? Because they're still going to be bad. So what is the expectation for the team? And then I think that'll give you an idea of where the coaches fall. I mean, are we saying they're going to win, 30 plus games and look good and
Let's put it this way. I think these teams would have to be horribly bad for them to get fired this season.
Right.
Like they would have to be like 10-72 bad for them to get fired.
if the Bulls are the last team, or the Bulls are the worst team in the league, is that? I mean, does he keep his job or what?
I don't think they're gonna be that. I don't think the record's gonna be horrible. I don't think it's gonna be, some ridiculously abysmal number.
Exactly
Right.
10-72.
I think overall, I think both of them have to. The only way they don't get fired is if they Luke Walton the situation, like where you have a horrible record, but like the feeling of hope is like so strong there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Luke Walton, Dave Yeager feeling.
Right.
We're at least excited for the future.
Now I don't know if Hoiberg is capable of that type of injection because he shows no emotion at all.
Yeah, he doesn't emote.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now because the last thing on our docket. We tried so hard to keep the show at 30 minutes, and we're running on 55 minutes right now.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's no way I'd rather be on a Sunday evening.
I mean, what else you got to do?
Exactly.
It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Hit us up. We're streaming on Twitch. I always ask.
Yeah.
Kurt to God, we're on Twitch. It'll be posted to every social media, our YouTube, our Instagram, our Twitter. No Hezzy Hoopcast. Look us up.
Yeah.
You guys got any closing comments tonight?
Man, I always enjoy our time together, and I hope you guys appreciate the work we putting in. We're trying to be more consistent with it. So
That's what I was gonna say. We're gonna be coming to you every single week from now on, until the end of the basketball season, barring any crazy circumstances coming up. But we will be here every Sunday between 8 and 10 p.m. You'll catch us around then streaming. Like I said, on Twitch. Leak, closing words?
I mean, just pretty much everything you guys said. We're looking at adding in sub content in between the episodes as well.
If you got something you want to talk about on the show,
Yeah.
hit us up on
Yeah.
social media. Let us know. We'll talk about.
That's what I was gonna say as
we got
well.
some hot takes.
Yeah.
As far
We got
as
some hot
yeah,
takes.
as far as
Like and subscribe and all of that stuff too, because all of that's gonna help us cultivate a better culture for you guys to enjoy, and we want to give it to you. So
Most definitely. For Leak and Black Moses, I am J.R. Schwab. Thank you all. No Hezzy Hoopcast. Out.
Schwab, don't do that.